We're now ready to start our second panel session, and then that will be followed by our second series of fast pitch demonstrations where we'll have 3 companies who are presenting. So to moderate the next session, I would like to introduce Robin Duke-Woolley, who is CEO of Beecham Research. Robin, welcome on up.
Right.
Okay, so you'll introduce our panel members, correct?
Yes, I will.
All right.
Okay, just a very brief word about myself and Beecham Research. We're based in the UK, hence my slightly strange accent to your American ears. We have a Boston office, and we also have offices in Northern Europe, in Berlin and Bonn. So we look at machine-to-machine communications worldwide, and we are assessing the market opportunities in 9 key vertical sectors. So that's my primary interest, and of course location and location awareness and location opportunities is one of those areas. So I'd like to introduce my panel coming up now. So we've got Bob Friday from Cisco. Do you want to come up and join us on the panel? And I'll get you to say, if you'd like to say just a few words about yourself.
Yes, I'm Bob Friday. I'm in strategic initiatives in Cisco's wireless business unit. I've been involved with Wi-Fi, indoor location for 10-some years or so. And I could say the big transition I'm seeing right now where we've gone kind of from an asset tracking type of market. With the mobile devices, we're seeing a lot more activity around social networking, indoor location for enterprises now, where we kind of have this concept of information in the network, mobile app developers, how to get that information to them. So there's a lot of new trends in that area.
Great. If you'd like to sit down. Okay, so my next one is Masaaki Maeda from NTT DOCOMO.
Hi.
I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Yes.
That's good. Thanks.
Hi, everybody. My name is Masaaki Maeda, President of CEO and NTT DOCOMO USA, based in New York. Yeah, and today we would like to discuss about location LBS service.
Right.
And I would like to explain our example for LBS service in Japan.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. If you'd like to sit down.
Okay.
Wherever you like. Then we have Kirk Mosher from Oracle.
How are you today?
Very good.
Good.
Very good.
My name's Kirk Mosher. I'm the Vice President of CRM Product Marketing at Oracle, and very much tied to how you enable location-based services so that whether for consumers or business, you can have an efficient way to gather the data and obviously to represent it to provide that. So I look forward to today. Thank you, Robin.
That's great. Good. Excellent. Thank you. And then we have Yossi Texerman from Intel.
Hey, good afternoon
Seem
to
to have a
everybody.
very international panel, and so it's really great.
Yeah, I'm Yossi Texerman. I'm heading the wireless connectivity group out of Intel. We are basically the wireless arm of Intel, doing the wireless silicons and solutions. Location is, part of what we are doing these days. And, we probably know Centrino and the things that we are doing since, so we are very much interested to see how connectivity and location and proximity are being integrated within the platforms to the business and consumer spaces.
Great. Okay, if you'd like to sit over there. And then we have Ronen Soffer from Telmap.
Yes, hello everyone. Thanks for being here. My name is Ronen Soffer. I'm on the management of a company called Telmap, which is one of the world's leading providers of LBS and mobile navigation, mostly for the consumer sector, with a lot of activity in what you would call rest of world, meaning EMEA and APAC territories, where we serve the likes of Vodafone, Telefonica O2, MTS, Orange France Telecom, and others.
That's great. Okay, thanks very much. Okay, well, this panel is about, as it says up there, working together to drive new revenue opportunities in untapped markets. So the number of potential applications that could use location awareness is very large. As the technology is increasingly being embedded into different types of devices, the overall market potential is developing pretty rapidly. So while it may seem that mobile offerings are reaching a saturation point, we're just scratching the surface of new wireless opportunities that can be delivered. So connected location services can open up new markets in areas such as healthcare, transportation, and energy. And we're going to be talking about some of those in the session today. So bringing connected location products and services to the mass market and new horizontal markets will take coordination and cooperation among industry players. We need to tackle obstacles like likely to prevent mass adoption, like product certification and standardization, global network availability, education awareness, security, and privacy. Very few of those issues we're actually going to talk about right now. We're going to talk about much more interesting things. So this panel will explore underlying issues to make connected location solutions available to everyone. Now, we have a number of prepared questions here, but we would like to open it up to the audience as much as possible. So we're going to ask and get into a few questions here, but then I'm going to see if there's anybody out there in the audience here who would like to ask a question. And if there is, obviously we'll take those first, and then we'll come back to our own questions. So we'd like to include you in this discussion wherever possible. So please interject where you'd like to. So thanks very much for that. So the first question that we've been thinking about is, do we see this market being driven more by business or consumer needs? And what are the implications of this? And then sort of connected with that, do we think that location awareness is a killer application for mobile devices in both of these markets, consumer and business or consumer? So perhaps I could open. Who would like to speak first?
I'll go ahead and start that.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So location, I mean, from Oracle's perspective, the core of location has been to enable it in applications. I mean, it's fundamentally, you have to have a way to obviously capture the data, display the data in a relevant way. And one of the big changes that come about, both in consumer and for business, has been devices that can easily translate and show web-based location data, either as part of an enterprise application or a consumer. So, but that's not the only part that seems to be driving it. So you also have the machine level driving it in the sense of something like your car. Anybody who has OnStar in the United States is using an Oracle, there's an Oracle locator database that's underneath that, that's part of the 11G, that helps them drive that. So one of the things we've seen is that the standardization of the underlying infrastructure, regardless of what device, whether it's connecting a machine, connecting a mobile device, or connected to an enterprise server, has now made it easy to take advantage of location if you want. So in our mind, the thing that at least has driven so far has been business to start with. And what we're now seeing is consumer. And I think we'll see both. I mean, business took it to do things like service routing, be able to have field salespeople. But now we're seeing even more creative, uses of that, where you actually have people who are dynamically changing what they're doing during the day and being able to then optimize it. On the consumer side, simply being able to take a service and get the consumer to be aware of it has now proliferated lots of web-based services. So I think it's both. I do believe that location changes things, and we'll get to it when you add social networking.
Okay.
Yes. I think that we have long history for location LBS service. When we start the LBS at first by PHS, Japanese cellular phone unique system, almost the enterprise is going to this area. I would like to say to one word, enterprise is the first, the second is the enlarged market for consumer. Right. Now, for example, in Tokyo, the Foursquare application, Foursquare for smartphone application is famous for LBS, right? A lot of the account or participants for Foursquare service in Tokyo is bigger than New York. I think the Japanese people is very likely to such an application. The Foursquare, it is a fact. Foursquare application was used better than New York. It means that the market was expanded by consumer now.
It will be very interesting to see Foursquare make money out of that in the next year. It will be a big challenge for them, but the numbers are amazing.
Yeah, I guess I would,
go ahead.
I mean, I would say, maybe from Cisco or my perspective, I would have said, if you look at location, it's mostly been a GPS world up to now. The major transformation we're seeing is these mobile devices. You look at your iPads and your iPhones and what's happening there. That is driving a whole new interest in what I would call location, indoor location that's happening. I can't tell you how many startups knock on my door now saying I've got some new way of doing something. I would say it's pretty much a consumer play driven by the device itself, the iPhone and the iPad, those are kind of consumer. Where that's leading to is consumer from business consumer. Things that we're seeing out there is kind of along the lines of service discovery. Where business now think they can connect to the consumer through this mobile device, whether it's, the experience of walking into a store or a stadium and doing service discovery. We've had several companies come to us where they think, people are leaving the store without buying something. Can they use location to connect the customer with the sales rep? And there's a ton of interest.
Another chance to sell,
yeah. Yeah, so I think it's a consumer play. It's an opportunity for a lot of VCs right now. I mean, there's going to be a big wave of investment and opportunity around this whole mobile device and the mobile apps that go on in the next couple of years.
I just want to add, I think maybe the kind of the best kept secret in this weighing of enterprise versus consumer is that from a software perspective and a use case and flow perspective, they're pretty similar. The guys who sell these services to you aren't that crazy about admitting it. But if you look at a mobile enterprise person that wants to track other members of a team, you see that in public safety a lot, or looking for a certain part number in a certain warehouse, which is very supply chain oriented, versus a consumer that wants to track a friend from a social network in the same vicinity under some urban lifestyle use case, or maybe look for a movie and where that movie is presenting that day, which is, from a software perspective, exactly identical to that of the part number in the warehouse. So in creating the pipeline, so to speak, for these use cases, the difference between consumer and enterprise is not so huge. Where you'll see the hurdles and where your DNA will work for or against you as a business is when you go to market. Because with enterprise, the whole philosophy will be different. Discovery is not a big deal for you because somebody will go out and deploy the software on all the end units, et cetera. But then again, to be a global player in the enterprise market, the level of integration and presence you'll need to create for yourself as a business is huge. Versus in consumer, you can be Foursquare out of Silicon Valley and suddenly become a huge hit in Tokyo without even knowing about it. Again, the big challenge for me, I think, is how to monetize on that, but I think it is quite amazing. So I'm just saying it's more of a go-to-market choice in terms of enablers and in terms of the basic needs of a consumer or a mobile enterprise person who's also a human user. You will find that in software and laying the pipes, that they're not so far apart.
Yeah, maybe to add to that, I think that location started in business vertical markets. Maybe the best known one is the military one, which probably started the entire thing long time ago, and from there it kind of grows with the smartphone, let's call it revolution into the consumer space with all the applications that were discussed. I think that penetrating to the broader kind of business and business productivity and IT space. Some things need to happen still, including security and privacy that should be probably reinforced to enable a broader kind of penetration. I think that also the presence of the location elements within the platforms that are most used in that space, which are notebooks and other devices, should also be kind of elevated so that we can see a broader penetration into the broader kind of enterprise and business space besides the vertical markets in which it is huge today.